Welcome to the Way to Go podcast. I'm Bill McMinn along with Eric Barfell. Lindsay is in the room, Lindsay Yankee. And I have to look at her before I start the show because I'm not allowed to start unless she says so. And she likes that. She likes to be the one. No, Bill, you can't start it when you want. You start it when I say. So
The power.
The power. She was already telling Eric how to sit.
The power is in her thumbs up or thumbs down. Yeah.
Yeah, tell if you like how Eric's seated today, thank Lindsay in church and just tell her what a great job
Comment
she's doing.
down below.
She's died, by the way. You can't see her. She's off screen. She's laughing her head off because, I don't know, we just try to be funny. What can I say? And we're talking today. It's Labor Day, so it's Labor Day weekend. And what is that? Did your family ever do anything on Labor Day? Like in particular, oh, wow, it's Labor Day weekend. Or was it just another weekend?
We'd probably have like a little cookout or something.
Okay.
Nothing big, nothing super special that I remember. But
in the old days, the biggest thing about Labor Day is the NFL started, so that meant fantasy football started, which I'm not playing this year because I couldn't make the one team's draft, and the other team won't let me back in because the guy said I enjoy winning, so I don't really want you back in there. That's what he just told me. But anyway, that's what I used to think about Labor Day weekend. I used to always be so excited because, Sunday after church, I know I'd get to see my first NFL kickoff. Now they don't do it. They do it the Thursday after.
Okay.
So, you're just getting closer. But I don't really remember any big traditions. It was just another day off, to be honest. It was Labor Day.
yeah, it was a 3-day weekend from school because school, for whatever reason, always started just before Labor Day.
Right.
I might even had football practice, back in my glory days of 7th and 8th grade.
Right.
Probably still had football practice in the morning.
I
to be
bet
honest.
you did. I bet soccer practice. We still practiced on Labor Day. I remember that. I remember one day there's no school. There's nothing going on. It was just us. It was like 90 degrees. I brought a cooler full of like Gatorades and waters and stuff for the kids to drink just because I felt bad for them because we had to be out there when it was.
Yeah, right.
And when you're as bad as we were, you got to practice on Labor Day. It just didn't matter. But anyway, I looked some stuff up, and the first reference to Labor Day was 1882. It becomes a national holiday in 1894. So if you don't know, Labor Day is actually to celebrate labor. And some of the union bosses actually and people that were, invested heavily in the leadership in the East Coast states, I forget, it was like New Jersey, New York, they were making comments because they were working everybody these 6-day weeks, 12 hours a day. And part of Labor Day where it started was as a protest against the labor practices of the era because people were getting so overworked. And then it became, so they went actually from 12-hour days to a standard 8-hour day because of protests, because of this movement. Like Labor Day was a movement to help workers. And so so that became, I think, was the birth more of the 8-day work day. I'm not sure about the 5-day week. I'm not sure when that happened, but that's when it happened. So pretty much state after state after state was picking up on it that we're going to celebrate Labor Day to remember all those work.
I wonder if this is where like child labor laws came in too.
Could be. They might have been earlier. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Because
it's sometime in the
high
1800s
school,
for sure. Yeah.
Nowadays, when I was working at McDonald's back in the day, it was like you couldn't work more than X amount of hours in a week, X amount of hours at a time before your break, things like that. There were some guidelines for the real adults, but us minors, 18 and under, there was a fairly strict rules.
No, there weren't. Not when I was.
That no one in my place of work paid attention to. But
exactly. No one cared about that. When you need a break, oh, sorry, buddy. Hey, Cupcake.
Yeah. When we have enough.
Keep Flickman burgers.
When there's enough people here, you can go on break. But
exactly.
Oh, they're gonna be 45 minutes late. You got it. It's like, oh, okay, well.
This is a suggestion,
Yeah, right.
The one thing we had to have was work papers. In my era, when I was a teenager, they were starting to get, no, you're not going to be working all these hours before you're 16. When you're 16, then you get like your working papers. Then they were allowed to hire you. So the McDonald's and other places would hire you when you're 16. Before that, I don't think we were really allowed. We could mow lawns galore. We could,
sometimes
paint
you had to have
people's
like
decks.
a permit or something, a worker's permit or for something. Yeah. Especially being in public school, going to school full time, you couldn't start before a certain time. You couldn't like close.
Right.
Sometimes McDonald's closes at midnight. I don't know if they would let young people close. I don't know.
Probably not. I mean, my brother was always coming in late when he was working.
Yeah, on
he
school
worked
nights
at an
anyways,
Arby's, and I
but-
remember the thing we loved about my brother working at Arby's is he brought everything left over home. So all the like, fried pies and apple pies and the turnovers and all that stuff. Like they would just bring back bags of food that we would eat that probably wasn't good for us, but we were all we were skin and bone basically, so thin at that teenage years in our lives. I could never eat like that today. I can tell you that right now. But I think Labor Day, I don't think we started school before Labor Day. Back in the day, I think it was you went through Labor Day and then you started school, because the reason they did it, and actually Conneaut went back to it right in our own county. They're going back to school after Labor Day, going back to the old school, because so many farms, they needed the help in the harvest.
Right.
So they didn't want school starting right now in Conneaut, White Turkey. Some of the other places are
all of Geneva on the
Barbecue.
Lake.
Yeah, they're all really dependent on school workers, high school students. So the college students already go back in August, and all they have left is the high school students. You take them out of the equation, they don't have any workers.
Right.
So that's why I heard Conneaut's actually starting after Labor Day.
That makes a lot more sense, because, I mean, you're only in school for, 5-6 school days,
right.
and then you have a 3-day weekend. So I always thought, I was like, it's kind of a joke, but it'd be nicer to just have those extra few days and then start.
Right.
Because you'd still be eased into the school year if you have Monday off and you start on Tuesday and you have a start with a 4-day week. It's not.
But now it's not
bad.
special. I think in some ways, like Labor Day, even when I think about it as a pastor, is not really a huge weekend where you're going to have a big drop in attendance, because everyone's already back in school.
Yeah.
So it's not like a special thing as much like that last hurrah. It almost feels like the last hurrahs come earlier in the season now before the kids actually start school. But it is really unofficially the end of summer.
Yeah.
We know the end of summer is really whatever, year to year it changes, whether it's September 20th or 21st or 22nd. It's always going to be in there, and you're going to have your vernal equinox or whatever equinox it is, and it's the kind of equal day, equal night. And then that's when your official fall is. But we always count it as Labor Day.
Yeah.
And I always count winter starting at Thanksgiving. I always count spring starting at Easter. I always count summer starting at Memorial Day, basically. It's kind of how we think about it in Ohio. So it is kind of a big deal from that perspective, is when you get to Labor Day, okay, I feel like fall's coming. Even like you said earlier off air, not that it's all of a sudden the temperature dropped.
Right.
Because it can still be pretty warm month.
No, to me, the end of summer was always August 1st, because that's when band camp and 2-a-day,
Right.
We were in the swing of things August 1st. So when I started high school and stuff, it was, first day of school was way late in August. Out here, it's like early, mid-August.
Right.
I mean, I can't believe it. It's
Right.
like, that's half your summer's cut right there. So then 2-a-days and everything starts late July.
Right. Well, as a coach,
That
when you're before school starts, you're 6:30 in the morning. For me as a soccer coach, because the only time you get the field, and then when school started, then you switch over to right after school. So there's no more morning practices for you. So that was a kind of a big thing for us. But I look at the end of summer. They said, I read it was the end of hot dog season. I don't know why. They say it's the second biggest weekend for highway accidents. So maybe don't drive on Labor Day. Labor Day, people just forget how to drive for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just that much traffic. So yeah, Memorial Day is the worst.
Okay.
And I would think, honestly, if you ask me what would be one of the worst holidays, I would think July 4th. I would think January 1st. I think some of those days would be,
right.
for obvious reasons. But no, they say Memorial Day than this day. And then no more white. Sorry, Lindsay, we don't want you wearing white anymore. I was wondering, they make this big thing of, when I was a kid, I don't think they do as much anymore, but they still, I read about it, was still on the list of, no, you don't wear white after Labor Day. It was like this official fashion rule. My fashion rule was you don't wear white. Like you don't wear it at all, other than a white shirt and a black suit if you're doing a funeral or wedding. Like the only time I'm going to wear a white shirt is, I wouldn't. Are you saying the fashion statement, or are you like wearing white?
Either.
Okay, right.
Everyone wears like black nowadays. It's always...
You're probably right. There are way more black t-shirts. I'm too messy to wear white. Like, why don't I wear white? I'm a mess. That's why, because I'm
total slob.
Exactly.
Everything
I would get it
shows.
dirty. My family's been teasing me for years. It's like, you're going to be the perfect person at a nursing home, like stains all down the front of your shirt, all this stuff. I'll be half blind. I'll not even be able to see it.
Well, those black shirts, you can sweat. It doesn't show, you know?
Grandpa, we can't take you out wearing that shirt. You got to wear a different shirt. I'm going to be like, what? So, so obviously I don't want to wear white.
Don't wear light gray in the summer, because you'll just when you're saturated, just
Yeah, exactly.
You look so sweaty.
You have to be in certain shape to wear certain colors. I can tell you that. But when you think about the appreciation of labor, and I think about what they did back in the 1880s, and I think about the industry of man, I think about the bridges they built. I think about Terminal Tower in Cleveland. The architecture, the design that they put into everything was phenomenal. Whether they're building a church, they're building a skyscraper, buildings like the Empire State Building. And you can think of laborers in those days, like getting a break, celebrating them as the laborer, and then thinking about, I built that. I was an iron worker that was way up on the steel girders.
Have you seen those old pictures of they're laying the steel beam? They're like hundreds of stories up. They got their like lunch pail just sitting on this beam. It's like, holy smokes.
And that's what we were celebrating. And I don't know if there's as much pride anymore in work. Do you think?
No, not so much. I mean, unless it's like individual pride of, I painted this, I built this kind of thing, but no.
Right. Like, I think it's like, I don't know how many, you look at what's hurting in our country today, trades. Where do they need help? Trades. When I see young people and they tell me I'm going to be a mechanic, I'm thinking, good for you, because they need mechanics, they need welders, they
emphasis on honest
carpenters.
Mechanics.
Right, they need carpenters.
That's what we need.
Honesty. Yeah, I'll give you that. Right, honesty. So I think about all the things that have gotten done and the beauty of it, and we're missing that in our world today. You talk to anybody who owns a business, and one of the problems that they're having is getting people to come to work. And then if they come to work, are they going to show up every day? Are they going to come on time? What's their attitude going to be? Do they really care about the business they're working for? They just want to know, just pay me and I'm going to do bare minimum work. I want maximum praise and money. I don't know what happened to the work ethic that when I grew up in the country, when I was married in the 80s. I'm telling you, when they put me on unemployment and I had to go file for that, I hated it. I hated it. There was something about no one wanted to be on unemployment.
Yeah.
No one wanted to fill in. No one wanted to take anything, except you realize, but your company's been paying into this for years. They gave me all like $200 a week. But and as soon as I get out of it, I started my own business to get out of it because I was going to seminary, so no one's going to hire me because I'm leaving. Anyone who hires me, hey, by the way, in 4 months from now, 5 months from now, I'm going to leave. So who wants to hire me? So but there was a mentality about it. You wouldn't want that. You want it to be self-sufficient and make it on your own. And that was mentality. I'm not seeing that as much today.
Yeah. No, I mean, when my first job came around, I got a job at the McDonald's, walking distance from my house. I'd literally walk there. Did I want to work there? No, my parents made me get a job.
Right.
Did I care about the $1 trillion company that was McDonald's? Heck no.
Right.
Right. Not at all.
Right.
So did I care about it? No. Would I steal that food? I mean, no, because I'm not going to incriminate myself on camera,
right?
For sure. So.
But you had some delicious treats.
Oh,
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So, no, I mean, I worked when I worked, I always said, I'm not going to work in the food industry. I'm not doing it. I'm not working at McDonald's, not going to work at Burger King. I just don't want to do it. I worked in retail and for a clothing store, and it was the dad, the son, and me. That was all there was. I came to school every day after work, helped them organize their shelves and fold stuff and empty boxes that got shipped in and put them out in the shelves so they could be sold. After a while, I was running the store by myself on certain nights, and that was it. It was the three of us. So did I care about those guys? Well, yeah, because I love those guys. I worked with them for 2 years. I mean, I talked about my life. If I had a problem, I mean, that's who'd you talk to? Well, my boss is probably in his 30s, maybe 40. I'm a teenager. Yeah, I'm telling them, Bill, don't worry about that stuff. That's just and they would try to talk me and they help me through it. So I would say there was a huge connection, In
college, I had a tree cutting job some of those summers, and it was a team 4 or 5 of us.
Right.
And that's the kind of work, someone could get badly injured. If not, you could die on that job for sure. So it's no, you have to put in some effort. You have to, care, because someone could get real hurt.
Right.
This tree could smash through someone's house. You know what I'm saying? So a good deal of effort and interest actually had to go into it. So, so in that way, I did care about the machine, and I knew the guy, and I mean, he took a chance on me, really. So it's like, okay, let me prove myself.
Yeah, and I think some of it too depends on how you're treated. I think in today's a lot of relationships, it depends on how you're treated.
Yeah.
So if you were working, like one place I worked, they were really kind. The other place, they're yelling and screaming at each other as family members, and you have people saying rude stuff to you all the time. And I still worked hard for them, but like I didn't like it. Like I didn't enjoy being there where they're every time they get to you, they're saying something inappropriate. They think it's funny because they know you're going to Christian college, and they're like 20, 30 years older than you, and they say every perverted thing they can think of to you, every time they it's just I didn't really enjoy it. But work is a good thing. Bottom line is it is. A man was made to work, and I think about Adam, why was he there? Till the garden. I mean, even in paradise, even before it was, and not saying that's the official paradise, but you know what I'm saying, even in all that beauty, it's the Garden of Eden. Before man fell, he's still working.
Yeah.
It's like we were made to work. I'm starting to build a patio, and one of the things that I like about it, people are like, well, you don't know what you're doing, and you better get somebody else to do it. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm going to get help along the way when I want to have someone double check my level, when I want someone just to ask a question to, but I don't mind putting my hands on some things once in a while, and doing something physical.
Yeah. Right.
I kind of like it. So
no, I've had some car trouble, and the people who have helped me out, they've kind of taught me loosely, but I get to watch them do it, and like that's kind of interesting for me because I get to learn how to do something like that. But yeah, no, I mean, even in the creation account, God created everything in the 6-7 days, and he looked at it and he said it was good.
It's good, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like this sense of accomplishment of I did that, and I built this,
really powerful.
It is good to have something to show for your time and your efforts as well.
I like Proverbs 6:6-11. Go to the ant, sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food in the harvest. And I like that. Actually, I have a friend who's really industrious. Like he's always building something around his house. As far as I know, he doesn't go to church anymore or anything, but I sent that verse to him one time. I said, hey, and the prophet says, you're an ant, man. And then he goes, I said, you're an ant. Man, not Ant-Man, not superhero.
I follow.
I want to be clear. But he said, I am an ant. You're right. I am an ant. I'm busy myself. But then it says, how long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber. And if they wrote that Bible today, a little hitting of the snooze, a little folding of the hands to rest, then poverty will come on you like a thief and scarcity like an armed man. And it's just that, almost like you're starting a bad pattern. You're starting to get in that pattern of ease and comfort, and I want to sleep in more. I don't really want to get going. And I think for a lot of us, man, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to reading your Bible, you can almost get lethargic where, I know I should get up and do this, but I'm tired. And so I think it's a great verse. How long are you going to lay there, sluggard? Like, how long do you need to lay in bed? I know you're tired, but get up. Let's get going. So,
yeah, right. No, for me, like in my exercise, what motivates me, speaking of motivation, or on the topic of motivation, I have a date set on the calendar. I have another race coming up, and it's like I'm motivated to work towards that date and like really push myself to be the best that I can come that day.
Right.
So it's like, what are you working towards? What's your, essentially having a goal? What are you working towards?
I like your hobby is kind of cycling, if you want to say it that way. It is kind of a...
Right.
Would we say it's a hobby? It is, right? Exercise can be like that, right? It's something you're into.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But it puts you in fitness. Like your interest is actually something... It'd be like if your pastime, you love to hike.
Right.
It's still a thing. Yeah, right. I mean,
air.
it's a fitness thing. So I think it's actually pretty cool. But one of my pet peeves, honestly, for a long time has just been laziness. Like, I can't stand it. I can't stand it if you're going to sit around and not chip in or help out. It's like, come on, let's get moving. And so when I see that in life where people just don't want to move, like they don't want to do anything, I'm like, I don't get it. I've talked to people before even, and they would say things to me like, well, I don't want anything to do with the responsibility. Now, these are not people in church, nothing like that. It's just people I'd meet, let's say, buying and selling antiques. So then you have conversations. They'd have a job, then they'd sell stuff, just like we had a job, and then we'd sell stuff. They're all sitting around. I hate responsibility. And I remember listening to them talk about it and thinking to myself, what would my life be without responsibility? Like what, I don't even know if I could understand life apart from I've got something on my shoulders that I'm moving forward. Like there's somebody counting on me for something. I have to be somewhere. I have to help somebody. There's Sunday morning coming. Like I couldn't even get it. Like why that would be interesting. to have zero responsibility. Because I'm listening to them talk thinking, you're describing a life that sounds extremely boring to me. No challenge, no pushing yourself, no helping others.
Yeah.
It's all about you. You just do whatever you want all the time, 100% selfish lifestyle. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I'll take Labor Day. I'll take that one day off, but like every day, just nothing to do.
Right.
That just sounds incredibly boring to me.
Even contemplating for me, like retirement. Well, I know someday. I know someday I'm gonna do that, but it's like, and what will you do exactly?
Yeah,
you know, so people I like having a big yard because I know I've got stuff I'll be able to do. But in Colossians 3:23, it says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you'll receive an inheritance from the reward. It is the Lord Christ you're serving." And I love that. You know, when you're working, or you know, if you're sitting in your office, I'm in my office. You know, we do it for the Lord. Or if I have a funeral coming up this weekend, you know, a good reminder, hey, you're doing it for the Lord. It keeps your attitude in check. Hey, I'm doing this because it's something God wants me to do. And I think in some ways you're blessed that you can do it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we forget how blessed we are to be able to work, how blessed we are to have the health. I think people laying in a hospital bed, if they have cancer, if they had a stroke, or there's something going on, they would love to work. They would love to mow a lawn. They would love to paint a room. And if they can't do it, I mean, that's a real hardship. And then sometimes for us, we more lament it or moan it, you know, that we've got to do something, not realizing, you know what a blessing that is? To have your health, to be able to move, to do something. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. No, and to not, I mean, that's the thing. If you do it all for yourself, all just like vain conceit and selfish gain, there's not really much to gain from it. It's like, what are we doing that's beyond ourselves, that's going to serve ultimately the kingdom of God? And how can that motivate us?
Right. Absolutely.
So, I mean, once you're, if it's not already, your faith is more real and apparent to you, it is a lot more motivating to get out there and like serve people, you know, and to be a witness. And then instead of just sitting around being what I call self-serving. Right.
No, I agree.
Because that's what laziness is, just self-serving.
It is. I just don't want to work. And it's not the way we're built. Like you're going against, but if you, I'll end with this. I used to teach my kids, an object in motion tends to stay in motion, and an object at rest tends to stay at rest. It's true in humanity too, on anything that we do. If we start getting into that pattern of sitting around, it's harder for us to get motivated to get up and get moving. If we stay active and we stay moving, it's easier to stay moving. I've told so many older people as they got older, please keep moving. I don't care if you walk from your chair to the mailbox. You've got to keep moving, because the more, there's such an inertia to non-movement, I guess you would say, if I'm saying the word right. It's just a gravity to it. It becomes easier to not move. Like right now, I'm not going to the gym in a long time, and it becomes so easy not to, or to give yourself an excuse not to do push-ups or whatever. You know what I mean? And I see, because an object at rest tends to stay at rest. Right. If I get in motion on those things, I'm in motion and running, so I stay with that. But if I'm not in motion, or spiritually speaking, if I'm not in the motion of reading my Bible, anything, keep moving. That's my encouragement. But you guys have a great weekend. We appreciate you tuning in. Both Eric and I both do, and glad you're here with us. And have a good, safe weekend. Hopefully a lot of you will catch on Sunday, and have a great week.